Walk Like a Girl, Gaurang reflects on his journey from a difficult childhood in Nepal to dressing some of the world's most influential women. And lucky us, Prabal is here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
And just congrats on all of your success. Truly. Can we start with the title of your memoir,
Yes.
Walk Like a Girl? You've talked about some of the bullying you faced growing up, maybe that phrase even spoken to you,
Yes.
and now you're here. How has your background informed where you are today?
Well, you know, walk like a girl was a term you thrown at me to, you know, shame me, but I've used it as to transform it as a phrase of power and courage. And, you know, it is to walk like a girl is to live through the world with softness, defiance, and courage. And that's what I've been doing now, because oftentimes in this world, people who look like me, you know, are often said like you're too much or too little, you know, and so, but I've decided to be unapologetically myself, own this space and be like, here, I'm here to tell a story. Hopefully it resonates with you. Hopefully you'll see me, and in seeing me, you'll see yourself.
That's so powerful because in many ways your clothes are making those who wear them feel more empowered.
I hope so, I hope so.
You dedicate this book to your mother.
Yes.
Talk to me about her and why it was important to honor her in this way.
Oh, you know, my mother is someone whom I love, but also really like. You know, she's really a good friend of mine, you know, and so that there's often, and that's sometimes it doesn't happen always. And she's someone who saw my truth, who saw me completely, wholly, unconditionally, obviously, you know, being as a friend, but also as a mother, and guided me through this world to live in this world and in the softness and courage, and also to understand the access and privilege that I have with my talent and what was I going to leave behind and how it's going to impact. So she's been my North Star.
And speaking of North Stars, I understand one of your style icons, Oprah.
Yes.
We share that. I got a photo of her in my office, but you've got the bigger flex, which is her wearing your designs on the cover of a magazine.
I think we have that. The first cover she shared with someone. With Ellen DeGeneres, yes.
How did that feel for you? I mean, and look at that gown. Oh my gosh.
Surreal, surreal. She was the reason when I was back home in Nepal, when I saw her on television, I'd never seen anyone who looked like her on television. Eloquent, like, you know, just in a full power and glory. And when she talked about her show, about living your dreams, is when I said to my sister, I said, I want to give it a shot in America. And so now cut to meeting her, dressing her, I was, you know, crying when I met her. When Yeah, I could not help it, because here was a woman, by simply being herself, inspired a guy from back home in Nepal to live his truth. And then to meet that, I was like, you know, it's above me, it's beyond me.
And she's not the only powerful woman you've dressed. You've dressed some of the most prominent women in Hollywood. I wonder, are there any highlights for you?
Oh my God, so many of them. You know, like I always feel like I'm grateful that they choose me, they choose what I've designed, because my goal is always to make sure that I match to their you know, power and complexity and courage, not because I don't need to make them beautiful, they already are, right?
Yes.
So I would say my highlights have been dressing former First Lady Michelle Obama, you know, which was really put me on a map in a different way. It really made people aware of who I was. Dressing my dearest friend Zoe Saldana in my first dress that I ever made. And then there was a 10-year anniversary collection that I did, which is like, Who Gets to Be American? It was about us. It was about seeing us, like, you know, how can we, it was in 2020 that I did, it was about, you know, do people see us? Are we American enough? And now we're still having that conversation. And, you know, and that collection inspired the Met Gala, you know, that year, so yeah.
I mean, to that end, can we talk, during the break, we were talking about how you have brought color, not just to the runways, but in who you are. What do you hope people feel when they wear your clothes, when they see your stuff?
That they're more than enough, that their stories are more than enough, that they don't have to shrink, they don't have to be hard to lead, they don't have to shrink to, like, you know, be, you know, like exist, and they don't have to, like, you know, be anyone but themselves to feel love and to really exist, and that they are more than enough to exist in this world and to claim their power and share their stories. Because at the end of the day, sharing a story is a healing process.
Oof. That's a word. And you are sharing a story through every design you make. Prabal Gaurang, truly a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You look amazing, by the way. I do have to say.
The highest of praises.
No, really. I love colors, you know.
Thanks for watching,
Yeah,
Julie.
of course. Yeah, thank you.